Today, well, it's strange to say today because we are across the globe with different times.
Worldwide,
Let's say this morning, afternoon, or night, we are with Gustavo Pineda Ortiz, who is a physiotherapist and biomedical science researcher at the National University of Colombia, but is currently based in the US, right? At the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
The goal of this initiative is to promote early career researchers. So I would like to stimulate cooperation between lab and researcher all over the world. Let me know if you want to be the next guest of Science in the Break. Now check it out the video.
So thanks Gustavo for being our guest for Science in the Break.
Thank you for having me here again. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm Gustavo Pineda is my name. I'm 33 years old. I grew up in Colombia. I started my PhD. As I do about what you have mentioned already, I earned a biomedical engineering master degree. And then I started my PhD in biomedical science in 2018, 5 years ago, by the way. Actually, I'm really engaged with the biomedical science, with tech development, deployment. I will break down all the points or all the main topics about my career. But basically, in short, I'm looking in my current research topic in structural MRI brain patterns that might be related with kinematic patterns, especially eye motion, using a combination of computer vision, machine learning, and data-driven methods for predicting clinical outcomes for neurological disorders.
How did you end up from, doing kinematics and going into things related to cancer?
Oh yeah, that is one thing probably, like if there is a gap probably, why I'm starting in computer vision, kinematic patterns analysis, and then I jumped to the cancer research. There is probably interesting history behind. Actually, I started my master degree with computer vision-based motion analysis. And then when I started my PhD, I switched, or I introduced in the field of medical imaging, particularly brain imaging in magnetic resonance imaging. And that is the focus of my work the last 4 years lately. As part of my thesis, of course, just moving forward from my master's degree in the same research group with the same people, the same advisor. Fortunately, I feel really lucky for the people that are with me in this journey. My advisor actually met my current PI, my current principal investigator, in a Latin American-based symposium in 2019, sorry. And my supervisor is one of the leaders in Colombia in medical imaging research using cutting-edge technologies like machine learning and artificial intelligence. He met Dr. Tiwari, that is, she's my current principal investigator, my current advisor, and is the current head of a cancer research lab at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Basically, they are pursuing machine learning methods for designing biomarkers in cancer research. That is basically cancer research, basically, because it's a big part of the US funding for most of these researchers and groups. We have common approaches in brain imaging, she trusted in our job there in Colombia at this point, and she invited me here as research intern 1 year ago, or almost 1 year and a half. And of course, I accepted this chance to make a deeper dive in this world of the computational methods for addressing health problems. But it's, in summary, the path from computer vision in Colombia with no resources and to US cancer research, a lot of resources, but less time. And, you know, that is the kind of thing that we are facing and dealing with. You are looking for funding and you have to split your time in different projects, even though some of them are not your major, and you have to learn new things.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. So, what about if you walk us through, for example, one of the population that you have worked with? I understand you were doing things, if I'm not wrong, with Parkinson.
Oh yeah, Parkinson disease. Yes, in the past, and now along with some master degree students, and recently with a big cohort of multiple sclerosis patients in a Colombian-based location in a hospital.
Awesome. So could you tell us some of the outcomes that you had from that research that you were doing with those two groups?
Oh yeah, basically, we applied these kind of methods in this, most of the time, mostly is in a cross-sectional way, because it's pretty hard to get sort of a longitudinal collection of data. It's difficult. This kind of patients are hard to follow. Basically, what we were finding in our first research is combining deep learning-based post-estimation methods for tracking gait patterns in multiple sclerosis patients. Basically, we found the patient that as the disease is getting worse, all the nonlinear dynamics of the gait patterns decrease in complexity, basically because if you are looking for a theoretical framework for motion analysis understanding, you can look, for instance, the system, dynamical system theory from the Bernstein point of view, and you can benefit from the temporal structure of the motion as a hallmark of the healthy pattern or the healthy motion. And you can then apply really interesting and really beautiful ideas like that comes actually from the information theory, like the entropy, like the scale invariance behind of the chaos phenomenon or behind of the fractal behavior, right? This kind of description allows you to figure out what kind of patterns are facing, or what kind of patients are losing complexity in your motion, and that is a hallmark of the neurodegeneration, for instance. That is the hypothesis behind, and we found these patterns to be decreasing or increasing as the disease progresses, as the disease getting worse, at these kind of things. And that is the paper. Probably we can share a screenshot of our first publication about the nonlinear description of Parkinson kinematics trajectories or time series.
So what you were doing is actually you're moving from analyzing these temporal parameters and like kinematics to identify what is happening in terms of control motor. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, awesome. Okay.
Yes, because even in broadly, we can approach this kind of problems from a motor control theoretical framework. And we can exploit your available data, even though those time series are not acquired with a high technology motion capture. basically because they one of the most interesting hallmarks of the human motion is the model redundancy itself. And you can benefit of the statistical covariance between different time series. At the end, those time series are complementary, and you don't need actually sometimes for answer clinical question 100% accurate method, because the redundancy of the information itself are helping us to overcome this limitation of noisy estimation, for instance, and reduce the analysis using, for instance, principal component analysis, singular value decomposition, or even the non-negative factorization matrix, as the people that usually works in electromyography is doing, for instance, with the hypothesis of looking for the synergies behind of the electromyography. Is the similar hypothesis, the redundancy of the kinematics patterns and the high correlation between upper limbs, lower limbs, and the different multiple segments of the body.
I'm impressed about your work, Gustavo, because it's highly interdisciplinary. I can see things.
Oh my God.
Yeah, on computer vision, imaging, movement analysis, and then doing machine learning, yeah, for gathering all the information, and then going at the same time to clinic to drive some biomarker for addressing better treatment. I mean, so it's very comprehensive. I do appreciate what you do a lot. Yeah.
And it's tough. It's just is that is feasible because we are working along the college and different fields, different majors, and that make it possible. Otherwise, probably you get stuck in the middle of just programming or just trying to understand what is behind of the nonlinear dynamics or what is going on with this kind of complex phenomenon, and especially with high dimensional problems. Actually, you you are working in motion capture. What we can deal with these high dimensional problems. We have 32 joints in 3 different dimensions, and how we can summarize this information in a meaningful way to figure out what matters. And that is a problem that everyone is facing, either in markerless motion capture and using the high-tech motion capture. And that is a kind of point that caught my attention a long time ago.
Well, now I will try to shift a bit the chat on the career-wise part.
Because at the beginning you were mentioning some challenges as well related to resources, and then it seems that aside from the resources, then you have also the challenge from your field where we're talking about validation. How have you been facing those challenges? And overcoming those challenges?
Yeah. You have to make everything in a different way. You have to figure out how to make a better representation of your data, new representation of your data. You have to dive into more sophisticated methods that are robust to the noise and are able to capture nonlinear patterns. That is another point that you have to figure out, how to capture nonlinearity, the nonlinear behavior of your phenomenon, the noisy conditions, and then different data set acquisitions. And we are solving those kind of challenges using different data representation and along machine learning algorithms.
Right. So in figuring out all those new different ways to analyze your data to be able to make it more analyze in a different way. more in a personal way, how have you been figuring out those things? It's been more like individual process, or have you had mentors, or do you have, like, because you were mentioning that your group is very multidisciplinary, so it's been more like a group effort. Could you give us a picture of how were you facing those challenges in terms of like at a personal level?
Okay, yeah, that is absolutely true. For sure, you need to work along others. That is the advantage of my research group. You have many colleagues that are willing to with you. For sure, the experience of your mentor, you need the mentoring of more experienced persons. Obviously, this experience of my internship are pushing forward this everything that what I'm doing at this point. Mentoring, of course, colleagues, of course, keep updated with the most recent papers, of course, and keep going with by learning new things, everything, every day, anytime, anywhere. You have to learn new tools every day. Basically, I will summarize.
You know, in every countries, in every continent, we have our issue. I wanted to understand from you what were the challenges of study in Colombia, also from your master, PhD, and well, for people that might watch this video from Colombia, South America, what will you recommend to do? Advices for studying well in your university, or maybe find some collaboration, or maybe do like you are doing now, this internship?
Oh, wow. Okay. I would say, first of all, you have to persevere, pursuing your goals. Make sure that you are completely aware about the about engaging, be committed with a particular field of research is actually what you are looking for. If that is meaningful for you. I guess from my personal point of view that you need a really big motivation behind to push, make a lot of efforts, many years pursuing this career. Actually, that has a really, for me, a highly human cost in terms of overnight work, all the chance that you are losing or getting around in the nature. I love trekking, but I haven't done this probably 2 years ago, pursuing deadlines, or even because I love my country mountains. Here is a beautiful lake, but sometimes you are running out of time. You are rushing. You have to hurry up. You know, all the deadlines, the upcoming deadlines. You know, you have to make sure that that is what you want. If you are spending your years, that matters at the end is meaningful for you. Is what you have to make sure. But for me, that is important to getting started, even from scratch with no support, no funding. I'm completely aware that that is tough. It's pretty hard when you don't have support, because most of us are dealing with institution of in the case of health practitioners or healthcare professionals. We have a schedule. We have all the schedule is short, is really short for the clinical practice, and then go through the new stuff and learning new things. And in my case, You have to learn programming. You have to learn all the stuff behind, for instance, in the processing MRI. And at the end, their money is even running out. It is crazy, but I'm completely aware that it's preferable doing and try your best, even when all the things are not the best, all the conditions around are not the best. That is preferable instead of doing nothing. Yeah. And as you persevere, keep going in this way, is someday, I don't know, it's like superstitious, but in my, for instance, I am a person of faith. After you becoming a hard worker, and someday you meet the opportunity and you have to take advantage of this. But nobody is going to pay attention to your work if you are not trying your best. Even when you don't have the best condition, even when you don't have support, especially financial support, the enough budget, never is enough. When the opportunity comes, you have to be prepared in this moment and show the best of you and try your best every time. And that is the reason why I am at this point in the University of Wisconsin-Madison. That is, at the end, I'm ending up in this opportunity after trying my best, even when not all the conditions are the best.
Yeah.
And my concluding remark about it is, if you are doing this big effort, because it's a really big effort, and as I said before, it's a high human cost. There is a high human cost behind. I will say that what matters is help others and support others, either college, patients, and anybody. What makes, for me, is what actually makes the life beautiful and meaningful. And motion analysis is just an excuse, yes? But if you are enjoying the journey and you are able to support others and help others, that matters. And I will recommend you to keep going if you are meeting your goals and you realize that you are helping others and make the life of the others better.
It's a great message.
That's very beautiful.
It's a great message. I just want to, sorry, Alex, I just want to say that I do appreciate the fact that you don't want to find any excuse. You just try to do your best, and then when you have an opportunity, you take it, like you're doing right now. And then it can be the possibility to further explore your research. So yeah, very, very nice. Yeah.
Because it seems that there is a lot of passion there, isn't it? But
Should
you
be there.
brought a lot of times this word of funding and resources. So I just maybe wanted to understand better, because usually what we hear around the world is usually PhD students have scholarships. The university, usually you don't have to pay university because you have a scholarship from university. Could you give us a picture of how is the dynamic in that in Colombia, at least in your university? Do you have similar opportunities like as you just mentioned, or did you have to also do part-time work, or like are you able to survive as a PhD student just itself? Just give us a brief picture of that, if that would be lovely.
Okay. Okay. In short, I will say that in our local context, you are aware, and you know, it comes from the same college. I'm really thankful with my college, obviously with my educational system, my country, because I grew up in that system. Yeah. First of all, I really appreciate the opportunity that our university got to me a long time ago, even 3 or 4 years ago, to becoming a fellowship professor as the only feasible way to getting started my PhD 4 years ago. I really appreciate this kind of opportunities, but ideally, the research work will demand mostly most of your time, sometimes full time. The risk that you are running is to getting basically a burnout, trying to catching up all the assignments in both sides. It will be better, but honestly, I really appreciate the change, all the opportunities in my university to for getting started, for support, at least one of my first seasons, the first years, honestly could be better, but I can imagine this road and this journey without this support. That is, a structural problem in terms of the financial, all the financial support of the research system in our local context. Yeah, it demands for sure political changes and all a different a switch all the way or switch all the perspective of the development the country. Otherwise, for most of our local governments made some investment on education, probably doesn't make any sense because it is not along with a perspective of development is what I would say.
So if I understanding correct, and I'm just also giving a context to everybody else that is listening, so you do have support, economic support, but you also need to provide a contribution. You need to provide back a contribution. So you are not full-time, you're a full-time student, but you also are a worker with like a contract that have responsibilities.
A sort of, yes. For instance, one of the figures is fellowship professor, with all the commitments that are with this position,
Yeah, right. So that is even more inspiring in a way of like you are a full-time PhD student, and you're following those dreams that you have, but also there is the economic reality, right? Like that we face as country, I guess, because it's not just from your institution, but it seems like it's a country dynamic, right?
Yeah, is what you want, is exactly what you are saying.
So in terms of your future and upcoming goals, what is on the horizon?
My t-shirt?
In your goals, like in terms of your like what you're gonna do in the future and what do you want to do in the future?
Okay.
what do we have in the horizon?
Wow. I tried a short experience in the industry, pushing forward and startup based on motion analysis, as I told you sometimes before. But for me, it's preferable, or was my initial thought. It would be great if you are able to combine something that you are inside of the university environment, and if you are able to show the same things outside in the real world, let's say something like that. But actually, that is crazy in terms of you have to push forward different projects because the academia, all the academic work is tough, it's hard to do. But getting started in the industry with a startup, for instance, in the tech field, even more competitive, I I think that sometimes is too much for one single person or even for one group. And at this point, I'm entirely sure about what is the future of that startup. That is it's a sort of dream to become true, but I don't know entirely sure if that is feasible in the short and long term, about talking about the human cost of being the leadership, or have the leadership of academic career and startup at the same time as well. Probably if you are, I'm really interested in teaching, in being a professor in this field of motor control, biomechanics for sure. In the clinical context, using cutting edge technologies is another part of my dream. Probably if I am able to do this, become through this part of the teaching, using this kind of basically make a bridge between the machine learning, the artificial intelligence, and rehabilitation in the clinical setting. If we achieve this kind of connections, it would be great. Probably it would be enough. Even for me, it is sure if you are not able to show to your students that is happening outside of the university, you know. Probably you try your best to keep your students motivated, and you are, I don't know, basically to become inspirational for others to try their best and come up with new ideas and new ways to do what we already do in the clinics, for instance. That is enough, more than enough. If you are a good professor, that is more than enough. If you are able to provide life-changing experience to others, that is more than enough.
Well, I'm Italian, but with two Colombians, I can relate well. I can feel the Latin spirit, and we have similar motivation behind our passion in research or in academia.
Awesome. I'm really glad to hear that.
I just wanted to clarify for the purpose of giving context to the people. So you were talking about being an entrepreneur, and then you're leading a company. Could you tell us what company is this company? And so this company came out from your PhD in your master experience, and then what you want to do is combine it with the clinical and the research field, right? So give us a little bit of context of what is this company and how long have you had this company for?
Oh, yeah, even I can share with everyone here in the podcast, probably a screenshot of this. One of the some of our deployments, basically adapting all the machine learning and post-estimation stuff for sport analysis. We got started with tennis, the tennis game, actually with the drive and all the field technical movement in tennis 4 years ago, also from the experience in the master's degree and trying to capture the kinematic patterns to improve the sport coaching is in summary. Just an effort to giving different new tools with this kind of cutting edge technologies for improve the technical aspect of the sport, in this case of use tennis. But even we can apply this framework to other sport, just using computer vision and video analysis. We started with this stuff, and we only propose the idea for the company with along other colleagues a time ago, but we got stuck in the parts of the marketing or the market research. Yes, looking for a target of potential customers, because we didn't have at this point the enough knowledge or the suitable knowledge to face this kind of basically the problems in the real world. Is your product could be apparently novel, attractive, useful, but there is no guarantee that all the people results engage, and that is the stuff, the marketing, a lot of things that actually I don't like too much, but as the PhD becomes harder and all the time is going over, I prefer to keep concentrated in my PhD and push this project a little and stop a little bit.
Well, really good, and maybe we will see this company in the future in some conferences. Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, thank you so much, Gustavo. We really appreciate your time, your insights for your research, and as well as your insights for inspiring other researchers, your suggestions, your thoughts. So thank you so much. Good luck for finalizing your PhD.
I'm looking forward to meet in person someday.
Yes,
hopefully.
well, we need to make in some conferences. Then
Oh yeah.
I understand that you need to work hard, but you need also to live well, and not
Yes.
constantly in a stressful way, because of course it's bad, but at the same time, long term, you're not productive. Yeah.